Today on the channel, we're going to engage in some Vamp spam. Clutch with Vamp on Way I Got It Figured.
The way I got it figured.
What's up, figure fans? Way I Got It Figured back with another G.I.Joe Classified Series review. This time we're looking at number 112. G.I.Joe Clutch with Vamp Multi-Purpose Attack Vehicle. So, this vehicle came out about a week ago, a little over a week ago, on Hasbro Pulse. Some people were getting it a little bit earlier than that, maybe from CMD store, stuff like that. I got mine from Hasbro Pulse. We're gonna get into it. There was some controversy last weekend with a certain YouTuber who put out a video sort of saying stop spamming YouTube with Vamp videos, and he didn't have one, and then magically he was gifted one, and then he turned around and said that it's not worth $100, which is sort of like spitting in the face of the person who paid $100 to give him one. But I digress. One point that he did make in there, that whole whatever that was that everybody does the same thing in reviews. Well, I don't know what you're supposed to do in a review. I mean, a review is a review. You're going to go over the figure, you're going to put it together on screen, you're going to do whatever you're going to do. But reviews more or less all take the same general shape, general form. And you give your take on the vehicle. Maybe you learn something new that you didn't learn in another video. Maybe you just like watching videos. I watch videos just to watch videos. It's not about the creator. It's usually about the toy. I'm a creator on YouTube, but I'm also an avid consumer of YouTube. So I'm not here to run down what people are doing in their videos, how they do their videos. First of all, anything that you say about somebody else's video could be leveled at you. So why even go there, But in the name of just being able to say whatever you want and try to pretend like that's being real or whatever, certain people will do, whatever it is they want to do to get views or whatever. I don't know. However, he did make one good point in there. But if you can do something different in a video, then you should. And as it so happens, I can, and we're going to get into that. But what we're going to do is start normally how we do with any G.I.Joe Classified Series figure. We're going to start with the packaging. And as you can see, it's a great looking package. You got the Vamp here with Clutch. Clutch is like super muscular. That's kind of funny. And you got his pistol. Nice little background here. And of course in the back you got the Easter egg for the next G.I.Joe Classified Series vehicle release. And it's very, very well presented. I like the sort of throwback with Clutch over here in the little bubble. And I also like the emphasis on the figure rather than the vehicle, even though the vehicle takes takes up all the money in a sense. But back in the day, it was the Vamp, and then Clutch or any driver or any vehicle in Real American Hero was sort of an afterthought, unless it was like Sergeant Slaughter or Serpentor, one of those type of guys. Other than that, it was the vehicle, and it just happened to come with a driver. They're saying 4 and up on this. There's no way I'm giving a 4-year-old this vehicle, or even a G.I. Joe Classified Series figure. That's just me. On the side, you got your Clutch blue portrait with his file card symbols and of course the QR code to nowhere. Then on the back, you've got your tail of the tape, which it feels like this is like transitional packaging between the new open face package and the old plastic free package. Because on Mutton Junkyard, which is number 113, you know, you just have the toy photography on the back and no tail of the tape. So, you know, I don't know. I like the tail of the tape. I like to see how, you know, how the figures measure up and all that kind of stuff. You see, you got quite a few things here. We know we got to put these things together, and I'm not going to put the Vamp together on the screen. There's plenty of videos where people do that. I'm going to do it off camera, and then we'll look at the results of that. But you got quite a few things here. You got your gas cans, fire extinguisher, axe, shovel, 2 guns, a wrench, 2 helmets, and of course clutch. And then you got your insets here. Clutch now has tattoos. You've got working mirrors on the Vamp and nice details in the interior. And then you've got Clutch's file card symbols once again. And he's got a 4 driving, looks like a 1 light weapons, 1 hand-to-hand combat, and 3 mechanic. Now, the 1 hand-to-hand combat, I can kind of get with that. The 1 light weapons, I'm not with that at all. But it just, you know, I don't know. They always want to make the OG Joes, they just give them low numbers, you know. Everybody that's not Hawk, Snake Eyes, or Scarlet, they get low numbers. And yeah, he adds up to a 9, you know, but Clutch, particularly here, and I'll show his original file card here so that you can see, he was actually one of the most, you know, he probably was like after Stalker, Scarlet, and Snake Eyes, he probably was like the most badass Joe in a sense. He went to all these schools. He wasn't like just a mechanic or whatever. He was a bodyguard. He's got all these weapons under his belt. Like I don't know sometimes what they're doing with these ratings that they give the Joes. And I don't think there's anybody else in the G.I. Joe figure review community that ever complains about these, because, you know, it's almost like an afterthought to everybody else. But I like file cards. I like ratings. Hasbro's been giving us this for 40 years. I expect it to continue, and I want it to be right. So that's just my opinion on that. But without further ado, we're not going to keep harping on that. We got a review to do. So we're going to get the Vamp out. Oh, and I didn't show the color art of Clutch, which is very nice. So there's that. So now we're going to get the Vamp out, get it assembled, and we will come back and discuss the Vamp and Clutch. So we've got our Vamp with Clutch in the driver's seat, and we're going to take this time to go over all the features of the vehicle, and I'll outline some of those in stop motion, as you've already seen the video will have as we go along. So starting, of course, with the cockpit. You can see the Clutch is in there holding the steering wheel. I got his hand over by the shifter with the other hand. It's not really there. It's just kind of simulating like it's there. on the front of the vehicle, you've got the sort of gear pack, and what they've changed into a sensor. This used to be a 7.62 millimeter kind of minigun. They changed that. You got your shovel, the lights, and one thing about the lights is they don't stay on very well on my copy. So, you know, I've seen other videos where they seem to be fine, but mine don't really seem to want to stay. I mean, you can see the modularity, how they set it up to where you can just take different pieces that would have a different appearance and put them on here. So when you get your Stinger or your Vamp Mark II, they can have different things there. And of course, you've got your winch. Actually does winch. You got your tow hooks here, which do articulate. On the side, you got your foot handles to get to step into the vehicle. Something you didn't have on the original Vamp. In the back, you got your fuel cans. And while there's no actual place to put the axe, I just sort of stuck it there. And then of course you've got your 50 caliber machine guns. And I believe they were machine guns on the original Vamp, even though they didn't, you know, they weren't just straight up two mod deuces strapped to the back of it. They were kind of in an enclosed cannon looking thing. But I think they were still like basically 250 caliber machine guns. And they actually, you know, there was a lever on the side that made them pulsate in a sense. One would go forward, the other one would go back. And of course you can have a passenger to ride along in the Vamp. And what you can hardly see is there's a fire extinguisher that just sort of plugs in right behind the driver. And then of course, the original Vamp did not have a glass window, but you have one on this one, and it goes up and down. Back to the back of the vehicle real quick. I forgot to mention that you have the tow hook here, you know, so you can tow a vehicle, perhaps the MMS. Since we got the SMS, we know the MMS is coming. And I said that there was nowhere to put the axe, but actually, you know, the groove for that is right here. That's what I get for not reading the instructions, but that is where you store the axe. Now, you know, looking at the entire package of the Vamp, I mean, it's a pretty cool vehicle, man. It's great. You know, it's a classified version of the 1982 classic vehicle. which was itself based on a vehicle not adopted by the U.S. military. When they created the G.I.Joe team, they used one of those vehicles that, this is in the pre-days of Hummer in a sense. They did not go with this vehicle, so they adapted it to use for the mobile strike team, codenamed G.I. Joe. It's great. I'm not going to compare it with the Hiss. You can see other videos for that, but it makes for a very cool counter punch to that vehicle. And I've taken the Clutch out because we're going to go over him next. So we'll start with that. So here's Clutch out of the Vamp with all his accessories on him, minus the shotgun. And the shotgun is, of course, right here, stowed in the Vamp itself. You can just stick it right there and he can sit in there with it. Shotgun itself, along with his pistol, are just the gang molded shotgun and pistol that come with CoverGirl and then later Hawk. And then he also has a wrench. And the wrench is painted, but it's also the same one that comes with CoverGirl. Now, Clutch himself is a pretty interesting character. As an action figure. I mean, the toy itself. So, of course, he's got this vest on that looks like his classic vest, but his body is all Outback. So all of this is the same stuff as Outback. The pants and legs down are also shared with Hawk, but he's got the top. He's pretty much Outback all the way down the line, except his head, of course, is Clutch. He's got this helmet that looks to be the same helmet as the one that comes with heavy artillery roadblock. Get a little close up on his tattoos. Of course, he's got a woman on one. It wouldn't be Clutch if he didn't. And then something else, some wings or something. But it's a nice touch, nice update to a classic character. This belt is unique. There's nobody else that has this. This belt here is the same one that's on Rock and Roll. I'll show you that in a bit. And of course, you cannot leave out the fact that it comes with a Steel Brigade helmet. But unlike the other figures where it's like an alternate head, it's actually a helmet that you can place directly on Clutch's head. I guess if you want an army build, that's how you would do that. I don't really, subscribe to the cartoon version where they had 3,000 vamps. I subscribe to the comic book version where they had one. Clutch's portrait itself is pretty cool. I wish Outback's was this nice, but his is really nice. There's no, he doesn't have that plasticky look about him. It looks really good. Looks like his hair is greased with motor oil, like it says on his file card. Clutch is having kind of a renaissance. He's been featured in Duke. He's running around in Duke, being a fugitive. Duke sort of pulled him in. And it says in there he went to MIT. There's nothing anywhere else that says he went to MIT. It seems like something they just added in the comic book. I'm not opposed to it. He's a mechanic. So he can go to MIT. It's fine. Got your back pointing flag to show that he's going toward danger and not away from it. Yes, Clutch is pretty cool. And I like how with the original Joes, they're making them look like the original Joes, but they're varying it up to give them some uniqueness in a sense, where they look like they belong in the same military unit, but not exactly the same outfit, minus, maybe a vest. And we're definitely going to compare Clutch with some of his OG 13 contemporaries. If you're not new to the channel, you already know how I feel about the OG 13. We're going to bring in his pal Breaker. You got your Grunt. And we got Rock and Roll. And I said they have the same belt. It's not exactly the same though. Looks like they yeah, I'm gonna have to recant. It's not the same belt. Yeah, it's not. It looks like it, but it's not the same. It's like the same belt, but the pouches are different and different, like it's based on the same belt essentially. It's not the same belt though. So I was wrong about that. But it's a similar belt. There's Rock and Roll. We got Stalker, of course. Next up, we've got Snake Eyes. Maybe for the next 2 weeks, we've got Scarlet. We'll be looking forward to that retro card version that some people already have. Mine shipping from Hasbro Pulse on the 10th of April, so unless that date changes. And then last but certainly not least, we've got Hawk. Hawk isn't sporting his OG 13 uniform, but perhaps we'll get that version either on a retro card or even more preferably with the MMS. We'll see, but whether he's in that outfit or not, Hawk is the original commander of the G.I. Joe team. And then finally, I'm going to bring in his fellow mechanic, and I'm sure constant target to be hit on, Cover Girl, in the chaplain's assistant motor pool at Fort Wadsworth. So you can see her wrench. It says she's a mechanic herself. I'm sure she's time enough for Clutch in any event. So there's your comparisons. I'm going to move on to final thoughts. Final thoughts on G.I.Joe Classified Series number 112, Clutch with Vamp. What can I say? You know, it's all that in the bag of chips. It's the Vamp. I'm a big OG 13 guy. This was like something that was definitely gonna get got, and I am very happy with it. If I had to say one thing that I'm not pleased about it with, it's how the lights don't really stay on. But those lights are like a modern update kind of upgrade, and honestly, you know, I could live without them anyway. So it's not, you know, it's optional. You don't have to put them on there for it to still be the Vamp. It's not taking anything away if they're not there. So you know, that's it. That's my only kind of, if I want to nitpick or gripe, they don't really stay on quite as well. They do stay on fine here. So I wish they left this machine gun, but you know, it's fine. It can be a road center or whatever thing Lenny cooked up. Oh yeah, and I didn't show that the hood comes up with the engine. Ooh, sorry about that. So you got your engine compartment there, and so that's one more play feature that you can use to have clutch repairing. I'm very happy with this purchase. I think it goes without saying it's gonna be a 10 for me, dog. And hopefully everybody out there is enjoying their vamps, and hopefully you guys enjoyed a little bit of vamp spam from where I got it figured. There will certainly be more G.I. Joe Classified series to come. Stay tuned for that. We do have the 60th anniversary deluxe figures to go. Quick Kick and Televipe, Quick Kick and Techno Viper and Big Boa and Airborne have shipped. So you know, those are all forthcoming figures that you'll be seeing on the channel from a G.I. Joe Classified series standpoint. So I'm going to cut it off from there. But if you're new to the channel, please like, subscribe, share the video, and I'll try to get some more stop motions in from G.I. Joe Classified series perspective. Until then, everybody stay safe. See you on the next video. Peace.
The way I got it figured.